You're listening to the Booze and Bloodshed podcast.
I got some bridges to burn, overtelling stories. School is getting boring as the songs we sing weary everything. And if the odds hold true, then I hope they see us through. I wish the stars would collide.
Hello, Leah.
Hi.
What a good couple of weeks, huh?
It was the worst.
Yeah, so this is our podcast. What is today? February the 27th.
February 27th.
And we are a couple of weeks behind on the podcast.
I lost track of the days.
And there's actually a couple of things that have changed in the process, too.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is dig back into that. We'll be back in just a second.
All circumstance, baby, all circumstance. 'Cause this could be our only chance, maybe our only chance.
That was a little bit longer than the previous podcast, right?
The intro song, yeah.
Right, yeah. All right, so hey, welcome to the Booze and Bloodshed podcast. It's been a couple of weeks. We're happy to see that you guys have joined us on this morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be listening from. And as always, we're here to dish and discuss things boozy and bloody. True crime and our horror movies will be our focus every week, along with an alcoholic beverage that we think will pair well with the subject of each episode. Today's...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to interrupt you, but you can go ahead.
No, but please, I'm a gentleman.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were done talking, honestly. All I was going to say is, like, it sucked to not do this when we were supposed to do it because of the weather and stuff.
Yeah, so we were supposed to do this maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I don't even know anymore because we have been. So we're obviously in Dallas, and it's no secret that we have gone through hell the past week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I guess now, weather-wise.
It felt like a month at the time.
Yeah, I didn't have power. Water was kind of iffy. Internet was a joke, and so there was just no way. And you couldn't drive.
Well,
I
yeah.
couldn't drive. The roads were too bad.
Yeah, we don't live together, so it was kind of... Well, and you didn't have power, so we couldn't have done it anyway.
Yeah, and I went out and bought generators, and I had them ready to use. It was just a mess, but we are here, and we're going to dive into this. So originally, what the podcast was going to be was we're still doing the Menendez brothers.
Yes, the case of the Menendez brothers who killed their parents.
Menendez brothers.
I keep wanting to say Menendez because I always hear Menendez, but it's Menendez, and that is so like a tongue twister for me.
And we were supposed to do Epic's Big Bad Baptist beer, and Leah had picked up, or we got some Bombers 22-ounce bottles of the Big Bad Baptist before the ice storm hit. And so we weren't expecting it to be like, I mean, we knew it was going to be bad when we didn't think it was going to be that bad.
I thought it was going to be like a couple of days, and it ended up being like the entire week.
Oh, it's horrible.
And obviously those got drank.
So here's what happened with me, and I guess you can tell your story. But so when the first snow hit, it's like, it's snowing a little bit. And then it stopped. And then the next day it hit. Well, the first night I'm thinking, I'm going to crack open one of these Big Bad Baptists. It's whatever. I've got nothing else to do but drink.
Well, and that's exactly what I did too.
And so I drank it, and it was amazing. And I drank it all, and I opened another one.
Well, I think what can be said about that beer is that's a beer, because it's such a dark beer. Like, that's one of those ones you have on a cold day. Well, like, that was the perfect time to drink that.
It really was. And it was like 12%, I think it was. I mean,
screw electricity going out and our pipes busting. We're going to drink Big Bad Baptist while this is going on.
Yeah. And so what I did was I went outside. I put on my ski jacket. I put on my gloves. And it was so cold, it was keeping the beer cold. So it was
Which, like, you were cold if you were wearing that, because you would wear shorts outside when it's like 32 outside.
It was so cold. But it was so windy. But it was perfect for that beer. Like you said, it kept it cold. And I drank one, and it was amazing. And so I thought, man, this is good. I want to do another one. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to go outside, have a beer in the cold. I was outside taking pictures of the beer in the snow and just doing stupid stuff. And I'm like, oh, I just finished my second one. I want something else.
Oh, I know.
And so I had a third beer, I had a third beer from Martin House, and we'll talk about that one some other time too. And it was just as strong, and it was just as big, and the can-wise, volume-wise, and I drank that whole thing. So at this point, I'm feeling way too nice, and so I came back in the house, and at that point, the electricity hadn't started flashing on and off, and I got on TikTok, and I saw a video of Justin Bieber, and I was like, hey, man, he's actually not such a bad guy. He's got some good music, whatever.
You
Feeling
don't even
good.
listen to Justin Bieber.
Feeling good. And so I'm like, so I went on Facebook and reached out to some like old musician people that I hadn't talked to in like years. They're probably thinking, why is Brandon reaching out to me? And I did that. And then I bought a soundboard
On Wish.
Wish. So first of all, you don't buy
Not where I would buy a soundboard.
You don't buy anything electronic on Wish. You typically, that's not where you go. But it sounded like a great idea to me at the time. Which, guess what? That's what we're recording on right now. Is that actual board?
Well, it seems like it works pretty good so far until it like shorts out your entire house.
So the previous board was what 4 channel, and now I'm like at a 10, 12 channel. I'm at a 12 channel board. I'm at a 12 channel board now. Way too much. For
Watch
what
this
we
be
need.
like the best thing that Wish sells.
It probably will be. Way too much for what we need.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, right now we're using 3 of the 12 channels. So I don't know. Maybe live performances down the road. I have no idea, but this board's probably going to stay with us for quite a while.
Maybe you can record me singing later. Maybe this thing can work wonders because I can't sing.
Hey, and it has an effects. It has an effects thing. Actually, I'm going to turn it up and try this real quick. See? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it affecting? Can you hear it? Yeah. See?
You sound like a robot.
So now it's got built-in effects, which is stupid. I'm gonna turn it off. But so yeah,
This should be Wish's new video ad for this soundboard.
So what I need to do
Your
is,
review of it.
If I have a few beers, I do not need to be on Wish because
No. Or Amazon.
I had no or Amazon.
Or Amazon,
True.
because every time I come over here, you're always like, "Oh my gosh, I had some drinks last night, and I bought this and this and this." I'm
bought
like, "Oh my
stupid
god!" And
stuff.
it's always on Amazon.
And now at
Always.
Wish. And so I didn't need a 12 channel board, but guess what? We have a 12 channel board now. So good times. So let's see. So what are we doing? So today, instead of doing Big Bad Baptist, because A, we drank it all because of the storm. B, they didn't have any more at the store because they haven't received the new shipment. So we're going to do Delirium.
Which I don't know if was that the first time you had it. Is when we went to
No, it's
No.
been the first time I've had it in a long time.
The first time I had it was when we went to like the best place in Dallas, in my opinion, the Old Monk.
Yeah, it was
Old
really
Monk
good.
is bomb. If you're from Dallas and you've never been there, you need to go.
Their brunch is awesome.
It is, and they have really good beers.
They do. And so we're doing Delirium. I might be saying it wrong, but it's Tremens. Delirium Tremens, which is supposed to be a Belgian pale ale. A Belgian pale ale or a golden ale. There's different sites say different things.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to dig into this. And first of all, this is what?
I think it's like an 8%.
Is it 8%?
I think so.
8%, something like that. And let's see what the website says. And
It's 8.5%.
8.5%. Beer Advocate gives it a 93 out of 100. And what they say is color inside is pale blonde, the fine and regular effervescence, ensure a fine and stable head. The scent slightly malty and a touch of alcohol, and it's spicy. Feels like feels like the sound shot of alcohol is igniting the mouth. This is flavor profile. In reality, the tongue and palate are warmed. The taste is characterized by its roundness. The aftertaste is strong, long-lasting, dry, bitter. And so we're going to try the Delirium Tremens, I hope, whatever it is. And we have a bottle opener. We hadn't opened it yet.
Yeah.
And it's actually warmed up some since we've gotten it out for doing sound check and
That's
stuff.
weird. You read that flavor profile, and like when we drank that, that's not at all what I got. I mean, I love this beer. I think it's really, really good. But like, that's not at all what I tasted.
So
Maybe, I
just
don't know,
opened
maybe
mine.
because we had a few Chimay's before we had that. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, we sound so good. We sound like we don't sound like alcoholics at all.
No, we sound like a couple of drunks. But we're not.
This is when you open it and you have that first sniff.
Oh my God.
The first sniff.
I said neither one of us should say that because we've said it every single time we've made a podcast. That's like one of the first things you say.
That is our word. Sniff.
It is.
So we're going to take a sniff real quick, and I want to see what this smells like.
It does smell kind of spicy.
Yeah, and it smells like that Belgian bubble gummy thing going on.
Yeah.
So I'm going straight from the bottle. Are you pouring yours in a glass?
No,
I'll pour
but
mine in
I
a
thought,
glass.
no, we don't have to do that. I just thought that's what we were doing.
Let's do it. Let's do it in a glass. So here we go.
Ooh, that's a really good sound. Ooh.
Man, they weren't lying. This has got some. It's really carbonated and it's got a nice rocky looking little cap on there. Nice
It's a very nice color.
Nice cap. Yeah, it's
very
golden.
good and clear.
Golden in color. Nice cap. Nice head on there. It's really sticking around a little bit. I've got about a finger and a half head. Leah's got like a forefinger on there.
Well, and I tipped the glass too. I don't know why that happened.
It smells so good. It's real. It's got that spiciness to it.
It is.
I always, when people say, well, "What do you describe a Belgian?" I always tell them it's got
Like
kind
bubble gum.
Got the
It
bubble
does
gummy
have
thing.
that.
So,
We had something last night too that I said it tastes like bubble gum a little bit.
what did we have last night? Where did we go?
We went to Windmills.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it was. You were drinking something and I tasted it and I was like, oh shit,
I had a
that smells like
tropical
bubble gum.
saison there,
That's what it was, I think.
and then I had a Vienna, and then the last one was like a double IPA, West Coast style double IPA.
That's what it was. It was that double IPA that smelled like that.
And you had the first one you had was a New England style IPA,
Yes.
and then what was the second one? Oh yeah, you had that tart blue blackberry.
Yeah.
It tasted like puke.
I didn't think that at all until you said that. We ruin things for each other all the time because if I smell or taste something, I'm like, ooh, it tastes or smells like this. And you're like, stop. And
It smells
then you
like
do
pickles.
the same thing to
Damn
me.
it. It does taste like pickles.
We just can't drink things around each other because
But that's actually a nice pour. I like the way that head's doing that. It's really cool.
It is. It bubbled up real good.
It looks real meringue, like a meringue head.
Mm-hmm. It does.
We're waiting for Leah to still continue pouring hers. I know this is so not entertaining. Whatever.
I'm so slow with this. I don't mean to be.
Let's see. So yeah, color is pale blonde, effervescent. We're getting a nice stable head. That's very true. Mine's dissipating a little bit, but it's still there. I'm gonna go straight for the taste. Let's see what's up. Did you already give it a sniff?
I already smelled it.
Just give it a sniff.
Oh
Let's see. Ooh.
Oh my god, that is so good. But to me, I don't think it tastes.
Spicy, but it's very rounded.
I don't taste like I don't know. I don't taste the bubble gum. I always smell it, but I never taste it.
I taste the bubblegum but it's not a flavor thing. It's just kind of a.
But I definitely get the spice thing.
Yeah, man, it is so.
It's almost like a cinnamon kind of thing. Well, obviously spice.
I'm trying to put my finger on what the spices could be, but
It's almost tart too, in a weird way.
it's got
But it's so good. So good.
a little bit of an alcohol burn lasting in there, but
Yeah.
it's a great beer, and it's brewed. Delirium is brewed by the family. It's a family brewery. Huyghe.
We don't know how to say it.
Huyghe. Huyghe. Huyghe.
Well, it's something Belgian, you know.
That's what
we
it
just
is.
don't know what it is.
Since 1654.
It's a long time.
Wonder if they're still alive. Really good beer. We're going to enjoy this. Are you going to actually drink yours this time? Because you never drink.
Yes, I am going to drink it. I will. I promise.
All right. Well, fair enough. And we're going to still keep drinking this. Excuse me. Taste is characterized as around this. I'm reading the Beer Advocate. Here's some more. It says medium body pale ale. It's got a good body. Apple and pear aromas. I got that. Definitely got the apple.
Yeah, I do see that too.
Features banana for sure there. Fruit, spice, and wheat flavors.
And what's weird is like I taste things, but it's such an overwhelming thing on your palate sometimes that I'm like, I don't know exactly what I taste, but it's like on the tip of my tongue of what I'm thinking, and I don't really realize what it is until you're like, oh, it's supposed to taste like this. I'm like, that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it makes you taste it. The power of persuasion is there. So, good beer. So we're going to dig into the Menendez brothers, and I'm going to say right off the bat, the only thing I know about these guys are what I told you when we were eating earlier, which seems like we do every time we do a podcast. So it's the Menendez brothers. And when did this start? What happened? What's up?
So I'm just going to start off with the whole beginning of this. But basically the gist of the case is these two brothers that lived in Beverly Hills with their parents, they killed their parents.
Okay.
So we're just going to start off. The Menendez family seemed to be a perfect model of the American dream. Jose, the dad, he immigrated here from Cuba after the Cuban Revolution in the 1950s.
Nice. I'm saying,
I thought you were going to say something.
I'm saying nice because it makes me wonder what the hell they did to be so wealthy.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
Right on.
So he moved here, and then he ended up meeting Kitty, which was
Kitty.
I know, it's so cute. It reminds me of Kitty Foreman on that 70s show.
Oh.
Every time I hear the name Kitty, that's what I think of. He met Kitty, who was a beauty pageant queen, and then he rose from being kind of a blue collar kind of worker into a successful young entertainment executive. So, that's where he started building his career and his money and his fortune.
Did it say what he did as a blue-collar worker?
He was doing kind of like a Scarface kind of thing. Like he was washing dishes and stuff. And
Oh, okay.
What probably a lot of people did at that time when they came here from Cuba.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jose, the dad, he spent the early 80s as the head of RCA Records.
No shit.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Well, I'm not surprised that you said that, though, as into music as you are. But he had a hand in signing bands like Duran Duran and the Eurythmics. So the house that they ended up getting killed in was located on one of the most exclusive blocks in Beverly Hills and was at separate times occupied by Michael Jackson and Elton John.
Okay, so these were like high-profile people.
Yes. The picture of their house is like very impressive. So anyway, that surprised me. I was not expecting you to do that. But anyway, they had only moved to Los Angeles a few years before their sons ended up killing them, so that Jose could take a job starting in the movie business.
I wonder what the backstory is, and that would take too long for this thing, of how he got from there to being an RCA executive.
I have no idea. I couldn't find anything on that. Like everything I read was just, from here to here.
Yeah.
From here to here.
Yeah. Like,
Mr. Miyagi.
Here to here.
But anyway, so on August 20th, 1989, Jose and his wife, Kitty, were shot to death in their Beverly Hills home. Their sons' names were Lyle and Eric. Lyle was the eldest. He was going to Princeton at the time of the murders. Well, I say he was going to Princeton. He was at Princeton, but he had gotten suspended for plagiarism. So, and then Eric was involved in like a slew of burglaries, it sounded like, around the same time too.
When was the time frame this happened again? Like the years?
In 89.
To get busted for plagiarism, there wasn't exactly an internet to check that. It had to be blatant.
True. I didn't even think about that. Like when I was in college, you had to turn things in, and a lot of people in college and high school probably at this point turn papers in on this thing called Turnitin. And as soon as it goes through that system to get to the teacher, it tells the teacher like this many lines in this match certain things that have already been written. So like they know how to catch it.
It had to be pretty bad for him to get busted for plagiarism in 89.
I mean, I would think so. I didn't even think about that. That's like that's crazy.
He copied it straight out of a book.
It must have sounded
magazine.
like something totally different from what he normally
It probably came
like
straight out of the damn textbook.
It probably did. But anyway, so Lyle was really successful, I believe, in tennis.
In tennis?
I think so. Okay, so yeah, so he was a tennis player who attended Princeton and seemed destined for a career in business like his father was.
So both of these guys were in Princeton?
No, just Lyle.
Oh, my bad.
So Eric, well, I don't know. It doesn't say if Eric was in college or not. It just only mentions that Lyle was. But you know what's really weird is they say that Lyle, who's the eldest, like really worshipped his dad, and it's like,
like
the
he
fuck?
worshipped him as like
I guess like in general, like as a business
successful
person,
business
I
guy.
think so. And then Eric actually turned out to be an even better tennis player than his brother, and he ended up as a nationally ranked player in his age bracket. So this is like what's so sad about all these things. Like you always hear about these people that kill other people, and it's like you were on such a good road in life, some of the people, and then
Yeah.
you did something like this. Like Edmund Kemper was like super freaking smart, and like they were going to Princeton. Like that's not easy to get into.
So who
Tennis players.
on the podcast so far? Who have we done? Edmund Kemper.
Edmund Kemper, and then God,
Edmund
Richard Ramirez. God, I was
Edmund
saying
Kemper.
Edward.
Edmund Kemper. Richard Ramirez.
And then we did Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, and now
Yeah.
we're back with the. Okay, so
Yeah.
of all the people, these guys seem like to be the most successful ones.
Yes. And apparently it was like a really known thing that their dad was known basically to push his kids and work them to the bone in athletics and seemingly everything else. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe that caused some kind of resentment.
Sound like abuse.
But anyway, once they moved to California, Eric began to run with some teenage hoodlums.
In Beverly Hills, yeah, they live in Beverly Hills, and he's running with hoodlums.
Yes.
Horrible life.
But like I had said earlier, that he kept getting in trouble for burglaries, and then his brother was getting suspended for a year from Princeton for plagiarism. And I guess that like kind of foreshadowed events to come, which, you know, that's not really like the same thing as killing somebody.
They've gone through some traumatic stuff to have to kill their parents. I agree.
Yes. So the Menendez murders apparently were regarded as one of the most gruesome and barbaric crimes in American history because their parents were not so much killed as rendered nearly unidentifiable because they were both shot 15 times from two 12-gauge shotguns. It was so bad that the police thought the killings were a mob hit. Like
That's incredible.
I feel like that, like, there is some hatred behind that. It like if you're gonna kill somebody, like just shoot them once, you know.
Yeah, what do these guys have to be so pissed off about?
I have no.
They had
idea.
everything. It sounded like they had everything handed to them.
So
And they're living in Beverly Hills.
yeah, well, and then so the night of the murders, the brothers told police they'd gone out that night to see a movie, but had to make a pit stop to retrieve Eric's ID. Apparently, that's when they discovered their parents' decimated bodies and dialed 911, they said in their interviews with police. The officers who responded to the 911 call found Eric sobbing on the lawn before entering the crime scene. How fucked, dude? Like, you killed your parents in a really brutal way, and then you're going to sit there and cry and pretend like you didn't do
It
it.
sounded like he was crying because he knew he thought he was going to get caught, not because he was really upset about it. But and what's the big thing about the Menendez brothers on this basketball card? Is this the same night of, or is this later? Like this is the big. That's what I know of them.
I actually don't know anything about that. You're the one that brought that to my attention.
So from what I heard in my vast knowledge of this subject, is that these guys killed their parents. And you said they went to a movie. I might be wrong. I read that they went to a basketball game and it got caught on somebody's basketball card that they were like in front row.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard that. Yeah, you may want to look that up. But what makes it even worse is I guess they just like never got in trouble for it. Like, well, I mean, never got in trouble. Obviously they did. But like they didn't get in trouble for like 6 months. Like I guess the police just were like, oh, they're not suspects. They didn't do it. And they just had no idea who had done it until they ended up both going to counseling like after this. And I guess they were already going to the counselor or something. I don't know. Like maybe they were already in therapy for some reason. And one of them, Eric, actually admitted it because he had felt so guilty. And I guess at some point,
So
Lyle
he confessed to somebody.
Yes. And Lyle, I guess, had admitted it too. Because stuff I read said initially Eric did. Some of them said only Eric did. But then I did read somewhere else that Lyle at some point had too. But their therapist had taped these visits, like these appointments with them. And he was a piece of shit himself, it sounds like, because he was having an affair with somebody. And what basically got them caught is this therapist and his mistress, because he was abusive to his mistress, this therapist. And I guess at some point pissed her off after he had already let her listen to these tapes. Like, oh, look, I have patients that have killed somebody. Like, listen to this. Well, then they got in a fight or something, and she ran to police with these tape recordings and was like, here, I have a murder to report.
I wonder in that case, does a therapist go get in trouble too for not reporting it?
I mean, I would think so, because I've always heard that by law, if you've heard that or you think that your patient or know that they could or have been a danger to somebody else, you're supposed to call the police. So I would think so.
Huh. Well, I'm looking online, and it says that they caught the Menendez brothers in the Michael Jackson basketball card, who I guess played for New York
Michael
Knicks.
Jackson, Michael Jordan.
No, Michael Jackson, who played for the New York Knicks in
That's a different Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Mark Jackson.
Oh.
Michael Jackson playing basketball.
Stop.
Ow.
That's messed up.
Ow. So apparently at Madison Square Garden, at the New York Knicks, Mark Jackson's card, 1989-90 season. Then they're in the background, and they're not in the front row. And apparently this happened between the time that the killings happened and then when they got arrested.
So when they were like on the loose, like the 6 months that they were just like running around acting like idiots.
Yeah. So the past weeks of season, the card's worth $12 on eBay.
Oh, that's interesting. So if anybody wants to get on eBay and get a Menendez brother basketball card, there you go.
Yeah, $12 or 99 cents, rising steady from there. One seller's offering a lot of 30 for $344. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that is them on the back of the card. I already showed you that, right?
Yeah. You showed me earlier.
Okay.
But what makes it even worse, like it was bad enough that they had killed their parents the way that they did, but like they went out and started spending their money, because at the time that they had killed their dad, he was worth like $14 million because he had won the lottery, I think, too.
So he won the lottery and he was an executive for RCA?
No, that's not true. That's not true. I thought it was. I thought that was the case, but that's not what it is.
Well, either way, he was an executive for RCA.
Yes. So he was worth $14 million when they killed him. And they were on the loose for like 6 months and like traveling and spending like a shit ton of money. Like they had spent around $1 million of their dad's money.
So they got caught because there was a confession. The mistress reported it. It makes you wonder, like, why did they not catch them based on like spending all their parents' freaking money? They should have been, well, I mean, I guess that doesn't constitute guilt. That just means, I guess, we're spending our parents' money, but it just makes you think, man, wouldn't they have investigated that? I guess. I don't know.
You would think, like, I don't know. But I mean, I would think the exact same thing, because if you watch shows like Snapped and stuff, that's like literally exactly what happens. If they don't get caught for a little while, then it ends up being found out that they're starting to spend the life insurance policy money that they killed the person for.
Well,
and that's why they get caught.
We had an instance here in Dallas that was kind of like that, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, not very long ago either.
Yeah. How long were they on the loose?
For 6 months.
6 months.
And they were like going to other countries and stuff. You would think that the police would be like, what the, like, don't leave the country because we're still investigating your parents' death. Like,
how long did they get for their sentence?
Life without parole.
Okay, so they're going to be there forever. Yes,
they're going to be there forever. But what they were doing after, even at the funeral, was really messed up, because some woman that worked for their dad was sitting in the limo with them on the way back from the funeral, and he was wearing, I think it was Lyle. Lyle was wearing his father's shoes, and he said something to her along the lines of, I told you I'd fill my father's shoes, or something like that. And it's like, what a scary ass thing to say.
So strange, so odd.
It is. It's weird. And especially on the day of the funeral, I mean, I get upset at people's funerals that I'm not even close to. I can't imagine going to my parents' funeral and acting that way.
Yeah.
If I was innocent.
Yeah, yeah, right. But knowing that you're guilty and still having that mindset.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
I mean, how bad could their life have been? And we don't know. No,
but they bought Rolexes. Lyle ended up buying $15,000 worth of Rolexes. And he bought a Porsche and a restaurant, a lot of clothes. His brother bought a Jeep Wrangler. It's just unbelievable to me that nobody really caught on to this for a while. Because 6 months is a considerable amount of time.
Yeah, they got to do a lot of stuff, and I'm still kind of blown away the fact that somebody didn't do even more of a thorough investigation with all this stuff. All the spending that they're doing, again, spending doesn't constitute guilt, but it usually means that where there's smoke, there's fire. Something's going on here.
Yes.
Very, very, very odd. 6 months, these guys had a hardworking father from Cuba, worked his way up the ladder somehow or another, got to RCA worth $14 million, shoots him 12 times.
15 times with two 12-gauge shotguns because they both shot them.
So they both got 15 shots.
15 shots in there, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything to really add to that part. It's just really screwed up that they had it made.
But one of the reasons that this got so much attention nationally was because, well, the trial started, the first trial, I should say, started in 1993 and was broadcasted on a relatively new cable network called Court TV.
I remember that. Is it still going?
I don't know.
I remember Court TV.
I remember Court TV too. So anyway, they ended up having 3 trials. The first 2 ended up getting dismissed basically, or they were found not guilty, something along those lines, because their defense had painted the picture as their dad being really abusive to them. And so they said that they were afraid of their dad because they had stood up to their dad and basically told him that they weren't going to take his shit anymore. And so they went to San Diego and bought a shotgun because they were afraid for their lives. And it's like, okay, I could see that if you maybe shot them once as that being a plausible story. But the fact that you shot both of them 15 times to where they were unidentifiable, come on, like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
But yeah, the first 2 cases got thrown out because of that. Because obviously they couldn't get another side of the story because the other person or persons involved were dead.
So the 2 cases got thrown out.
Or dismissed or found not guilty, something like that. So they just, I don't know, they didn't get in trouble for a little while. And then they had a third trial where they were finally found guilty.
And that's because of the confession, right?
That was because they finally were like, you know what? Yeah, we did it. And this is what it is.
That was
so
just so
they ended up getting life without the possibility of parole.
So this gained attention because they got 2 cases thrown out, but the only reason they got caught was because of the confession. Caught
Yes.
the whole thing with the whatever.
Yes. But yeah. I mean, I think this is like one of the worst things I've ever heard, just because, I mean, Edward Kemper, or God, Edward, I keep calling him Edward. Edmund Kemper.
I did the same thing. You made fun of me.
I know. He killed his mom, he killed his mom and did really, really bad stuff. I don't understand doing things to your parents, like, or anybody really, but especially your parents. Like, that takes to me, a new level of just
Craziness.
horrible evil.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got different thought processes and they do things differently. But if you have that much hate for somebody, just move on.
Yeah.
Just move on. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't know. And what makes it even worse is these are 2 of the ugliest motherfuckers I've ever seen. One of them looks like a turtle.
A turtle.
Yes, and I think it's Eric.
Eric looks like a turtle.
He does. He does. And what's so sad is, like, they were so young to have done something so bad, because this happened when they were 18 and 21, and they are now 48 and 51, and they've just
no chance of parole, right?
They've just spent pretty much all of their lives in prison for what? For fucking money?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Like, go get a job. Jesus, your dad's so successful. Like, you could have just got hired on in his company and built your way up in that way.
I agree. So
yeah.
Is there anything else to add to any of this stuff? I don't know. We had a really good beer, Tremens by Delirium.
This was a relatively open and shut case too. I mean, it was
just,
there wasn't really any kind of complication to this. They did what they did and they admitted it and they went to prison.
Very cut and dry.
It is.
Okay. Well, that's the story for the Menendez brothers. Please like and subscribe. Follow our Instagram, Booze and Bloodshed. Let us know what you think about tonight's episode. And feel free to send us suggestions for future episodes. Keep an eye out for the shows, the next show's topics for discussion on our Instagram. And we'll see y'all later. Make sure to contact us at boozeandbloodshed@gmail.com. Leah, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. See you guys in 2 weeks. Well, for sure we will.
Yes.
Have another one coming
Yes.
up. Oh, what are we doing next week? Next podcast for the beverage? Do we know yet?
I don't think that we've decided that yet. If y'all have any suggestions, shoot us a
Booze.
DM, email, whatever.
Yeah, boozeandbloodshed@gmail.com. Send us
Yeah.
a DM or whatever. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.